Who's ready? Are you? Ready for what? Yeah.
Well, it could have been last week we were talking about time relative to drums and relative to self also in the quote, or I'm going to paraphrase, if you don't know your time, then how are you going to play anything of use, of value?
Good question. Good inquiry. How do you know you're you? See? Well enough to ask it what your time is. In other words, it's like, so what time are you? See? It's not an intellectual question, and it doesn't warrant an intellectual response. See? If you're a drummer and a musician, then that translates into something your body does, not you think about. Think about that.
It seems to have a lot to say physically. Like, as a drummer, it seems like there's a bounty of rhythm, texture, pitch, expression, just waiting or flowing.
It's all waiting for you to let go of you. Let go of all your baggage. All your cargo. Oh, your barges of cargo. A whole train of barges this guy's got. He's a collector. Right, you get rid of that weight, see? Right, you get rid of your materialism, so to speak. See? Don't mean your dollars, but your just preoccupation with surviving at the materialistic level. That has its place. It has its sacred spot. Right? But just a spot. The heart is the universe. The universe is a heart. That koan you have to look at very carefully. It's the answer, but it's also a question. Big one. And for the musicians, it's how well they listen to where it's coming from within them. See? This is like light years away from school. This is about soul, not school. See, but the soul. What that means. What vibration that is. In terms of recognition. See, deepest understanding of the function of channeling music. See? If that could even happen. See? Channeling sound. And then, of course, last but not least, channeling something relative to your instrument. Whatever that is. See? And finding the right vibration. See? The key that unlocks the door. To superconscious. function.
When you talk about time relative to drums and music, are you using that word, or using the same word as when you talk about time mastery, astrologically based?
The time I'm talking about is the time that unlocks the door, see, or the gate, see, to solar systemal time. See? So it unlocks the gate of solar systemal time to true time. So, in other words, there are other forces of time that have to be countered, see? Because you're here on Earth time. What you suffer is Earth time karma relative to peep, influx, and distraction from what your true time is. So we are speaking about a process that requires huge, big, intense flames. Cosmic furnace level. Right. Of purification to access properly. But it can be done because it's a thought. It can be done. See? It's not physical. Sooner than later. If your body-mind alignment is such that your integration, somehow or other, right, alignment, yeah, integration of the bodies, physical, emotional, mental, say, subtle bodies, say, are in a certain alignment when you are least confused, more embracing of peace as your true. Maybe, just maybe, see, from your inner peace, right? As a result of renouncing everything else that would have appeared to have been more important to you than the moment of peace, see, maybe you can hear your time beyond time. The truth of it lies at the question, the foot of the question. And how shall you fulfill your thrills? Your thrills. What gives you the thrills? Is it just sex thrills? Not bad. Not enough. 2 hour-long orgasms? Sorry, not enough. Nowhere near it. Flesh is limited. Spirit is not. So you better get some spiritual thrills. Yeah. Get yourself out of the ditch of cheap thrills. Social thrills. Sexual thrills. Better left to children. Adolescents. You came here for more than the cheap thrills. You came here for a different kind of thrill. The thrill of knowing. Not just music. Music's a bigger thrill than the sex thrill. Yeah. And musical genius, in the way that I know it, is the biggest thrill of all homitos. It's a big, big, big thrill. Who's ready for that thrill? That thrill doesn't compromise. That's the thrill of realization, doesn't compromise. It won't have anything less. Doesn't want ice cream, cake, and sweet things. It will only work with fire. And pure spirit being itself. Not cheap thrills and psychodrama and endless roller coaster rides to nowhere. Just around the circles, and you realize you were on a ride. You have to get off. You pay for it. Yeah, you get your money's worth, no doubt. Right. Sex is great. Genius is greater. Sex comes and goes. Genius doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't budge. It's not outside you. It's not something you do. It's what it does. Comment? Let it do what it does best. Love always. Hugh. So you have physical communion, but then you have spiritual communion. There's the difference. Some would say it's samadhi. Right? Samadhi, meditation. Right? No subject, no object. No man, no woman. Good. It's this coming together. See? But this is symbolic of what it always is. See? It's just like that. See? Just like that. See? Not quite neutralized. It is neutralized, but it's polarized in such a way. See? It activates something. See? It liberates something. See? See? When you are with the other, see, and you have your communion, it's momentary. Right? It points to this, the constant communion factor of ongoing creative blissfulness, because the two have come together already, beyond body. Nobody to nobody. See? For the few, maybe. Who knows? maybe for all, sometime.
Is there a, say, productive or maybe even not particularly destructive way to feel a need for this type of, say, communion?
The need, physical? You're talking about relational? You're talking relational stuff?
Yeah.
That's born. That's animal. Relational stuff is animal. It is sacred, but only up to a certain point. It would have to be only up to a certain point. Great sex creates marriages that last as long as it takes to get to the divorce court. And everybody's still worshiping the sex because they don't peeps it. Can't get with that peep. This has already been discussed umpteen times already. It's not about sex. Then it's about how you relate to the other person, regardless of your sex. So sex is a separate issue. Say, ordinary sex fulfilled leads to exhaustion, orgasmic, pleasure, bliss, burnout, blowout. And then when we talk about the creative impulse itself brought to a higher level of communion, which has nothing to do with another person and their karma, which is what the problem is somebody else's karma. You're not even dealing with your own karma, you're dealing with, you're mixing your unfinished karma with someone's unfinished karma. You got a lot of unfinished karma. And then if you're an undisciplined dog, and then you're mating with another undisciplined dog, you got even more undisciplined other mixed karma to deal with. So it's doomed. Doomed. Great sex. Doomed. Doomed. No genius in there, by the way. Not a particle of it, by my standards. Just impulse. Human impulse. Natural. Lower natural, not higher natural. Higher natural doesn't end, and it may not begin either. Higher natural just is higher natural. Higher spiritual, higher natural. Communion, higher communion. Always ready, see, in the bliss, the ecstatic bliss of spontaneous creativity, already. No interruptions necessary. No coming down necessary, unless that's your choice. You're going to be back in the pits. You want to get down in the pits. Those who love the pits go that way. Enjoy the roller coaster ride. Hey, it's good. A lot of work. No genius there. It's a struggle. Suffering. Unhappiness, and struggling to keep it working and happy, right? Completely unnecessary, useless, except for some who are determined to make the impossible work for themselves. Don't call it creativity if it's not that. It's just relation. That's all. Animal attraction, karma, compromise, karma. Could be great, could work out. There may be a purpose behind it. Could be short-lived, could be long-lived. But where's progression in it? Who knows? Where's the genius in it? Who knows? Some might have a little bit of something in there. There might be sparks here and there for some, maybe not. No realization there, necessarily. Doesn't amount to or make it about realization. No orgasm enables you to realize anything except that it's over. Yeah, you reach your peak. That's it. Down you come. Start all over again. That's what you realize. It's over. And anybody else can do it, and many others can do it better than you too. It's over. No happiness in that. A lot of fear and uncertainty and confusion in that. But that's what it is to be human. See? Lower instinct. Not high instinct. Not spiritual instinct. Could be. Generally not. It's all suffering, fear, concern, separation, division, insecurity, blah 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 blah. Poof. No use for that. See? Higher creativity, very good. Good luck. Shoot. Yeah, there is a higher purpose, a higher function to the sex function, which is a creative function. And not just to create, humans. We talked about creating and recreating the universe. That's just humans. Mind. Intelligence, not just humans. And situations where people are at their worst, it's like enemies, in conflict and stress. And the only thing going for them is a little bit of sexual neuroses. That's it. Lower nature. Higher creative nature, yes, that's important. That's what we see at work in sex and birth, and death. Sex, life, death, birth, death, cycles. And sex is about birth and dying. It's about rebirth and death, and again death and death and death. So, orgasm is loss. You got to take it at its face value. It's loss. So, you have your orgasm, get ready to lose. You're a loser. You better be happy you have someone to hold, and you better hope you can hold on to it as long as you can if you're a holder. If you got to hold it. Right. Because it's already going. Everything there is going. Everything is going. See? You enjoy holding as long as you can, but it's going to go. Everything's going already. See? And then you have to consider the domination factor in relationships. Who needs to be dominated? By man or by woman? Who needs to be slaved to that? See? Who needs slavery over and over again? See? Called, new relationship, slavery. Enslavement, bondage. Who needs it? Maybe beginners need it. See? Beginners need it. Sometimes older people need it. See? Sometimes. Keep things going. See? So we need the sex if it's going to bring in new species of peeps. Purpose. Purpose. But to have sex just to have sex for nothing, no purpose. Losing. Okay. Losses. The sense of loss is great. The sense of sadness and sorrow are great there. See? You have to ask, what have you created to make you happy? What have you created to free you of suffering? Why else create? Why else engage in the creative energy unless it's to create good, Not even the great good, just good. It's good. Yeah. I'm not talking about good sex. All sex is good sex. It's all pleasure. Yeah. It's masked with pleasure. Yeah. Yeah. So that you don't see what's really going on in the sex. It's really going on underneath. See? The mixing of the primordial forces and the ancestral lines. See? Not always making your life easier. Or clearer. Not everybody's lucky. So good practice. Transcending your sexual neuroses. It could be said that for most beings, the sexual level of bliss is the highest thing they know. They have no internal bliss beyond that. That's the high point. That's the God. That's the religion of ordinary people. Sex. That's the God for most. It's a false God. It's a mock-up of what the God is, let's say. The real God is. It could be said by those who understand that what it is has no beginning or end, has no shape, no form, no body. So before we bring others down to our idea of religion in the form of sex, you should think deeper. Go deeper and think. What is that which transcends your self, thought, mind and body altogether? Time, space, energy and matter, and the universe. That's something to resonate with, because that's our true nature. Only true nature is good. With all due respect to the blisses of the body, right, relative to sexual conductivity, sexual love, so-called. I have met many who renounced that, or in whom that fell away. See? And they had a different quality, like an inner blissfulness. That's pretty constant. See? So they reached this plane, plateau, of blissfulness. And it could be said that from that plane, ordinary sex is a problem. A much lower activity. And it's not to degrade one and upgrade the other. No. You have to know for yourself. You need to know that for yourself. Comment on that.
That seems fair. Seems like...
But who's interested? Who's interested in going beyond the dog? See? Who's interested? See? See?
That seems like... that seems very important.
What seems very important?
That interest. The recognition that higher consciousness and a balance that's going to be a little bit more...
Well, everyone is here to die, inevitably. You're here to leave the body, and you leave the body every night anyway. So leaving the body like that is natural. That's the natural instinct. Go to sleep. Natural instinct. So in certain types, the natural instinct is to put down the emotional stresses and maybe even confusion of sexual mixing at a certain stage. And it's fine, it's perfect. Yeah, it's another level. It's not missing anything. It's a new recreation, a new perfection. Others find perfection in otherness. No problem. And you have perfection in no otherness. So we'll say, well, then that's a miraculous development. So be it, whatever it is. Anything is possible out here. You can be happy for no reason at all. You can be laughing and smiling. Because your soul nature might be happy. Yes. Your inner spirituality may have something to do with this realization of transcendent bliss. It's true, real. Natural. Awareness. Peace. Peace. Peace.